Hello students. In the indifference curve analysis, we have seen that the consumer always prefers a higher indifference curve to a lower indifference curve. So what restricts a consumer from going higher and higher? Can he go unlimitedly? Is there an opportunity for the consumer to go to the highest possible indifference curve, highest indifference curve, attain highest indifference curve that can be drawn? Actually, there is a limitation on the consumer for maximizing his satisfaction. When he moves from a lower indifference curve to higher indifference curve, he is increasing satisfaction, he is maximizing satisfaction. But there is a limitation or restriction to the extent to which consumer can increase his satisfaction. And this restriction is given by the budget of the consumer. That is, income of the consumer is limited, and therefore with his available income he can only purchase limited amount of both commodities, assuming that he only has two commodities to purchase. So with this limited income he has to purchase these two commodities, and with this limited income he has to maximize his satisfaction or reach the highest possible indifference curve. And this restriction is his budget, and we geometrically call it the budget line, because it is a line which he cannot cross, beyond which he cannot go. That is his restriction, and that is the limitation of the consumer in maximizing his welfare. And this is called a budget line. And so budget line shows different commodities that the consumer can buy with his available income and given prices. Okay, so let's first examine a situation where the consumer has an income of 60 rupees, and two commodities, commodity A whose price is 12 and commodity B whose price is 6 rupees. Okay, with this situation we can create different combinations of the commodities that the consumer can buy. Combination 1, combinations in the first column, second one A, third one B, the number of units of B that he can consume. So here, suppose he is spending his entire income for consuming commodity A. How many units of A can he buy? Here are 60 rupees and price of A is 12. So the maximum number of A that the consumer can buy is 5 units. So if under combination 1, the consumer is spending his entire income consuming A, then he can consume 5 units of A and 0 units of B, because the entire income will be spent on purchasing A. In the second combination, if he decides to reduce the consumption of A to 4, then what happens? 48 rupees will be spent in consuming A. 60 was his income. Now he has 12 rupees with him. With this 12 rupees he can consume 2 units of B. 2 units of B. And in the third combination, if he reduces consumption of A to 3, then he spends only 36 rupees. He has a total income of 60. 60 minus 36 is 24. So there will be balance of 24 rupees. With this balance 24 rupees, given the price of B as 6, he can consume 4 units of B. Fourth combination is buying only 2 units of A, for which he spends 24 rupees. 60 minus 24, balance is 36 rupees with him. With the 36 rupees and given price of B as 6, can consume 6 units of B. And here 8, and if he consumes as a combination 0 units of A, then he can consume 10 units of Y. Okay, so this is the situation of the consumer. Under combination A, he is spending his entire income for purchase of A. Given his income as 60 and price of A as 12, he can consume 5 units of A. Then he is left with 0 income, because he is spending 60 rupees on consumption A. Income left is 0. With 0 income, he cannot buy any units of B. If he is willing to reduce consumption of A from 5 to 4, then he will be spending only 48 rupees for consumption of A. His total income is 60. So there is a balance of 12 rupees. With this balance 12 rupees and given price of B as 6, he can consume 2 units of B. 2 units of B. Again, if he reduces consumption of A to 3, then the total rupees spent on A will be 36. 12 into 3 will be 36. And the balance amount in the pocket of the consumer is 24 rupees. 60 minus 36. With the 24 rupees and given price of B as 6, he can consume 4 units of B. Again, if the consumer reduces consumption of A to 2 units, he will be spending 24 rupees for consuming 2 units of A. The income left will be 60 minus 24, that is 36 rupees. With the 36 rupees, he can buy 36 by 6 is 6 units of B. Price of B is 6, he will be buying 6 units of B. If he further reduces consumption of A to 1 unit, the total income spent for consuming A will be 12. And the balance amount of income with the consumer will be 60 minus 12 is 48. With the 48 rupees and given price of B as 6, will be consuming 8 units of B. 48 by 6 is 8. And finally, if he spends his entire income for consumption of B and consumes nothing of A, then the entire 60 rupees will be spent for purchasing B. 60 by 6 is 10 units of B. So the consumer will be getting 10 units of B and he will not be able to purchase any units of B. So this is a schedule which shows the behavior of the consumer when he has a fixed income. So even though he would like to purchase infinite quantities of both commodities, he cannot do so because his income is limited. So he has to allocate his income between different commodities in such a way that he can maximize his satisfaction. So the tool that we have derived is the budget. It's called the budget line, and budget line shows different combinations of A and B that the consumer can buy with his given income and given prices of the two commodities. This budget line can be geometrically present also. You can present this budget line geometrically. So this is our space. Our y-axis and x-axis. On the x-axis we are measuring commodity A, and on the y-axis we are measuring commodity B. So if he is spending his entire income for consumption of A, then he will be consuming 5 units of A. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So you will be at this point. Now 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be the first point, that is combination A. In the second case, when he is spending his income between A and B and purchasing 4 units of A, then he will be able to purchase 2 units of B. So 4 units of A and 2 units of B. This will be another point. Then 3A, 4B, 3A, 4B. This is the point 4, 2, 3A, 4B. Then 2A, 6B, 1A, 8B, and 0A, 10B. So when we join all these points together, we get a line which connects both axes, and this is called the budget line. We can call it PB, something like PB. So this is the geometric derivation of the budget line. This budget line shows the restriction on the consumer, the limitation of the consumer. He is limited by the budget line in expanding his satisfaction. Okay, this budget line together with the indifference curve can be used to arrive at the equilibrium of the consumer. Okay, so this is the budget line, and this budget line can be used to derive the equilibrium of the consumer. Geometrically to derive the equilibrium of the consumer. Again, this is the space and this is the budget line PV, budget line PV, and we know that we have different indifference curves. IC1, IC2, IC3, and this analysis will show how the consumer maximizes his satisfaction with his limited income, or how the consumer will arrive at the equilibrium with his available income and given taste. So where will be the consumer? You can see that the consumer will like to be at this indifference curve IC3 because it is the highest indifference curve. But is it possible for the consumer to be an IC3? No, it is not possible for the consumer to be an IC3 because he is limited by his budget line PV, which allows him to be on the or inside the budget line. So he can only be inside the budget line or on the budget line. He cannot go out of the budget line because it is out of his budget, and therefore he can only be on the budget line or inside the budget line. So IC3 is not attainable to him. So will the consumer be on IC1? Definitely not, because IC2 is higher than IC1, and consumer always prefers a higher indifference curve, and IC2 is also attainable to him because it passes through the budget line. It is tangent to the budget line. So the consumer will be on IC2 at the point where it is tangent to the budget line. So the equilibrium of the consumer is defined by the tangency of the budget line with the highest possible indifference curve. It will show the maximum satisfaction that the consumer can attain with his limited income, because any other point to the right of the budget line is not attainable, and he cannot be on such points or on such indifference curve, whereas he will not like to be on indifference curve which are located lower to the budget line, because they gives him a lower level of satisfaction, and he will be on the indifference curve which just passes through that budget line, or which is tangent to the budget line, and he will be on the indifference curve where it is tangent to the budget line. And at this point you can see that MRS XY is equal to slope of the budget line. Slope of budget line. MRS XY is equal to slope of budget line. We know that slope of indifference curve is given by marginal rate of substitution. At this point, both the slopes are equal. Slope of the indifference curve is equal to the slope of the budget line, and therefore the equilibrium of the consumer is defined by the point where MRS XY is equal to the slope of the budget line, and slope of the budget line is given by price ratio Px by Py. So again you can see that at equilibrium MRS XY will be equal to Px by Py. So this is the equilibrium of the consumer. This is the equilibrium of the consumer. Okay. Thank you.